Hi everyone, I'm going to take you through a 1-hour class for improving bone strength and bone density. I recommend that you use a 2 kilo hand weight in each hand. If you suffer from a tight neck or shoulder issues, of course you'll reduce that hand weight down to a 1 kilo or even a half a kilo, makes a difference. Let's begin. Stand with your feet hip width apart, knees off the lock. Just allow the hands to hang down by the sides and allow the weights to pull your shoulder blades down away from your ears. Close down your eyes. Observe how you're distributing your body weight. Are you weight bearing equally through both of your feet? Do your shoulders feel even, or does one shoulder feel like it's higher than the other? Do you feel as if your two hip bones are pointing straight ahead? Or does it feel as if your pelvis is possibly rotating or twisting a little towards the left or a little towards the right? So just tune in to how you normally weight bear through the body. Let's begin with a Qigong warm-up. Allow your arms to lightly swing around the torso. Holding weights will push your range of movement a little further than it would naturally. And as we're doing this Qigong warm-up, allow your shoulders just to surrender to gravity and drop down away from your ears. Remember to keep your knees off the lock. And again, as we're doing this rotational movement, feel your rib cage as it rotates around the spine. And notice whether you're restricted more on one side than the other. No one is perfectly symmetrical, and quite often you'll find that your dominant side is a little tighter, and sometimes that's just because we've got more muscle bulk down the dominant side. So notice the range of movement of your ribs, and notice the range of movement through your lower back and the pelvis. Now, if you're observing a really obvious asymmetry there, I'd like you to turn in your foot on the more restricted side. So for me, I'm feeling like my right side is a little more restricted. So what I'm going to do is rotate my right foot into a pigeon-toed position. Keep both the knees a little bent and continue. See if you can breathe out as you rotate to your tighter side. So breathe in on the side that's a little more mobile and breathe out on the tighter side. Slow the movement down of the arms so that your breath remains steady and slow. Let's do 10 more. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now straighten up the foot that was turned in and just observe the difference in your range of movement to the tighter side. So mine now feels a lot freer down the right, and I hope that your tighter side has become freer too. All right, let's roll our shoulders around in big over-exaggerated circles. Change directions. Now do an alternative backward shoulder roll. And now shake down. Let's make our way down to our mats. We're going to need both hand weights. We're going to begin with some arm movement. Start with your legs extending out, nice and straight. Press the back of your knees down towards the floor. And then holding your hand weights, just see how far you can reach towards your feet. Don't worry too much about the distance. Everyone's going to be a bit stiff and tight, especially if you're doing this first thing in the morning. So just take a reach, remember where you're able to get to, and hopefully in a few minutes that will have freed up quite a lot. So round your back into a C-shaped spine by curling your pubic bone at the front of your pelvis up towards your navel. Tuck your chin down to your chest and press the mid back backwards so that you feel as if your spine is resembling the letter C. Press down through the back of the knees into the ground and lower yourself down as slowly as you possibly can. When you're all the way down on the floor, we're going to take a breath in and take both arms slowly back all the way to the floor behind you. Now, if you get any pinching sensation in your shoulders, you'll have to get rid of the hand weight, and you can just follow along the exercises without the hand weights. Take an in-breath to raise your arms up to the ceiling. And another out-breath to stretch both arms all the way back behind you. Now, to protect the neck doing this shoulder work, I'd like you to tuck your chin down towards your chest so that the vertebrae of the back of the neck are in the most lengthened position possible. Keep pressing the back of the knees down into the floor and keep the front of your ribs smooth. So it's as if we're tucking the front of the ribs down into a pair of high-waisted trousers. Don't let your ribs pop up as your arms stretch back to touch the floor. Let's coordinate this movement with your breath. Use an in-breath to draw the arms back to the ceiling and an out-breath to stretch the arms slowly back behind you. Let's do 5 more. Breathing in to raise the arms up. Breathing out to stretch your arms back. In-breath to pull up. Out-breath to slowly extend back. In-breath to raise the arms up. Out-breath to stretch back. Breathing in, bring the arms up. Breathing out, stretch back. We've got 1 more to go. Use an in-breath to bring the arms back to the ceiling. And now an out-breath to bring the hands to your thighs. Tuck your chin to your chest. Reach through your knuckles for the fronts of your feet. And see if you can reach a bit further than you did the first time. Round your back into a C shape. Let's lower ourselves down really slowly. And then use an in-breath to take the arms up, and out-breath to take the arms back behind you. An in-breath brings the arms all the way to the front of the thighs, the chin to the chest, round your back and roll up. Reach a bit further than you did the second time. Breathing out, rounding your back into a C, lowering 1 vertebra at a time. In-breath raises the arms up to the ceiling. Out-breath as you stretch the arms back behind you, keeping your ribs neat. Breathe in, arms flow all the way to the thighs. Out-breath, the knuckles punch forward towards your feet, stretch further. Out-breath as you round your spine, 1 vertebra at a time. In-breath as the arms rise to the ceiling. Out-breath, the arms lower all the way to the floor without the rib cage moving. Out-breath to flow up. In-breath as you reach for your feet. Out-breath to lower down. In-breath, arms to ceiling. Out breath, arms stretch out behind you. Let's do one more. Big breath in brings the arms all the way to the thighs. Breathe out as you reach forward to your feet. Take a breath in as you reach even further. Breathe out to lower yourself down. Bend your knees up. Place your feet in line with your hips. And now lift your pelvis up off your mat and draw the pelvis as close to your heels as you can as you put it back down on the ground. Now, just put the weights to the side and crawl your fingertips as far forward as you can along your mat. Continue to lengthen out the back of the neck. We're going to move into some abdominal exercises now. And the first one we're going to do is working on the oblique muscles. They're the ones that wrap around from the sides of the body around to cross over the front of the belly. So we're going to take one of our hand weights and we're going to just position it between the knees. So you've actually got to activate your inner thighs to hang on to that hand weight. Heel toe your feet in so that your ankles are as close to each other as possible, and certainly your big toes need to touch. Now extend the arms out wide. Stretch your elbows as far apart as possible and then fold at the elbows so that your fingertips end up landing just across the front of your rib cage. Now we're holding our fingertips there to secure the rib cage because we want the upper half of the torso to remain stable and still as we activate the abdominal muscles. See if you can feel your shoulder blades meeting the floor. Check that your chin is tucking in towards the base of the throat, keeping the back of the neck lengthened. Take a slow breath in. Breathing out, see how far your knees will drop to the right without letting the ribs move at all. So your hands are there to give yourself some biofeedback. Now let gravity and the weight of the legs twist you a little further. Keep the ribs totally still. Keep both of your elbows down on the floor. The back of the shoulder blades are both on the floor. Now to come back from this twist, we're going to draw the pelvic floor up. Draw in your lower belly. Now pull in the rest of the belly. So try not to let any part of your tummy flesh touch the front of your t-shirt. You're really scooping the tummy in and down towards the floor. Now maintaining that contraction of the tummy, bring the legs back to the center. Take a breath in. Breathe out as you drop your knees over to the left. See how far the legs will go without letting the ribs pop up under your hands. So keep your rib cage nice and neat. Keep both elbows on the floor, both shoulder blades on the floor. Drawing up your pelvic floor as strongly as you can. Drawing in the lower belly. And now the rest of the belly as deeply as you possibly can. Use an in-breath to draw the legs back to center. Let's move a little more quickly. Take a breath in. Breathe out, legs drop to the right. In breath, bring the legs back to center. Out breath, legs drop to the left. Breathe in to draw your knees back to center. Breathe out, legs dropping over to the right. In breath, returning to center. Out breath to the left. So your hands are keeping the front of your rib cage nice and neat. Your chin remains tucking in towards the chest. Your pelvic floor remains drawing up. The lower portion of your belly is scooping down between your hip bones. And then you're pulling the rest of your tummy flesh right down away from the front of your clothing. We'll do one more to each side. Finishing in the center, take the hand weight out from between the knees. Pick up your other hand weight We're going to continue to work those oblique muscles now. Raise your arm straight up to the ceiling and then bend one knee at a time up into the air. So you want your legs to be making a 90-degree angle at the hip and the knee. And the hands and the arms are also making a 90-degree angle. So your thigh bones and your arms are both vertical towards the ceiling. Now we need to do this next exercise with our back pressing flat into the floor. So draw up your pelvic floor, draw in the lower belly, and now draw your navel down as strongly as you can so that you feel all 5 lumbar vertebrae flattening down into your mat. Let's begin. Take a breath in. Breathe out as you open the left leg and the right arm. In breath, drawing back to the start position. Out breath, left arm with right leg. In breath to return. Out breath, right arm, left leg. Out breath to return. Continue. So remember, if an arm and leg are stretching out, you're breathing out. In breath brings the arm and legs back to midline. Out breath as you open out. In breath to return. Keep going. Continue to draw your pelvic floor muscles up. Continue to draw your lower belly down between your hip bones. And continue to scoop the rest of your tummy away from the front of your clothing. You want to feel the sensation that your 5 lumbar vertebrae are continuously pressing down into your mat. If you feel your back arching away from the mat underneath of you, try drawing the knees a little closer to the chest for your start position, and that should help you to maintain that flat back shape. Let's do 2 more on each side. And then lower the legs down to the floor, lower the hand weights, pull both knees up into your chest, squeeze them in without letting your bottom lift off the ground, and then just place your hands on top of your knees and draw 5 big circles with your knees. Imagine that your pelvis is resting on a clock face and you want to trace out all 12 numerals on that clock face with the massaging pressure. Last one now. Changing directions. So feel the sensation of your pelvis rolling around that imaginary clock face, tracing out all the 12 numerals. Let's do 2 more. All right, let's work a little more strongly now. Pick up one of your hand weights and once more place it back between your knees. Holding your hands back in that securing of the ribs position, so elbow tips on the floor, holding the ribs neat at the front of the body. Bring your legs back to tabletop, and we're going to do those knee circles without the assistance of our hands. So let's trace around an imaginary clock face. Nice and slowly, pulling up your pelvic floor muscles, drawing in the lower belly between your hip bones, and then pulling the rest of your tummy in as well, away from the front of your clothing. So try and imagine that you're tracing out every single digit on the clock face, change your direction now. Don't let your ribs pop up, and keep your tummy scooping down away from your clothing. Keep your chin tucking in to meet your chest. And then complete that one. Lower the feet to the floor, get rid of the hand weight. All right, now we're going to work our buttock cheeks strongly. So we're going to take the hand weights, one in each hand, and place them across your lower belly. So basically the position of the hand weights is in line with your two hip bones. And then you're going to place your palms flat, holding the hand weight steady. Squeeze your buttock cheeks strongly together. Press your feet firmly down into the floor and then lift your pelvis up. Now we're going to lower the pelvis down, but I want you to push as hard as you can through your hands and hard through your feet into the floor as you slowly lower your bottom back down to the floor. Keep checking that your chin remains tucked in towards your chest. So we're squeezing both buttock cheeks, pressing as hard as you can through your hands into those hand weights that are resting horizontally across your lower tummy. And we're lifting and lowering. So the hands are pressing continuously. Both of your feet are pressing down into the floor continuously. And you're squeezing your buttock cheeks as tightly together as you can continuously. So by now, you should be beginning to feel a burning sensation in the back of both of your thighs. We're going to do one more like this. All right, now press your left foot only down as hard as you can into your mat. Notice that when you press your left foot down, you feel your left hamstring muscle or the back of the thigh and your left buttock cheek engage and begin to burn. We're going to repeat 20 little bridges, just focusing on that left foot. So the right foot remains resting on the floor lightly. It's the left foot that presses firmly down. So let's continue. Left foot pushing hard into the floor as you lift up. Left foot pushing hard into the floor as you lower down. Let's do 19 more. Keep your chin tucking in tightly towards your chest to maintain the length in the back of your neck. Your hands are both pushing down firmly against the hand weights, both on the way up and on the way down. Your tummy is scooping in away from the hand weights, and then you're pulling in the rest of your belly as well. So at no point, as we continue raising and lowering the hips, do you allow your tummy to relax. We're constantly pulling the tummy away from the front of your clothing. See if you can dig your left heel in even deeper, as if you're trying to make a deep hole in the floor with your left heel. All right, we're halfway there on the left. Keep going. Ideally, your left hamstring and your left buttock cheek are beginning to burn very obviously now. Now, the stronger the burn, the more effective you're being at actually building some strength in the back of that left leg. See if you can move with your breath. So it's a breath in as you lift yourself up and a breath out to lower down. We've got 5 to go. Okay, no resting. Let's swap across to the right. Dig your right heel in deeply now into your yoga mat. Allow the left foot to relax. It's just resting lightly on the mat. Keep your chin tucking in deeply. Keep squeezing both of your buttock cheeks strongly together. Draw your lower belly in away from where the hand weights are resting, and then pull the rest of your tummy in as well. In breath to lift, out breath to lower. Make sure in the effort to engage your buttock cheeks, you're not unconsciously clenching your teeth together. So if you have your teeth just a little bit apart and the tongue just resting lightly on the roof of the mouth, then that should keep the jaw out of this exercise. Let's do 10 more on the right. Keep digging the right heel in deeply. The stronger the burn in the back of the right hamstring and right buttock cheek, the better. Let's do 3 more. And we'll just do 10 more on the left, straight across into the left foot. Dig that left heel down. Keep squeezing both of your buttock cheeks together. Keep your chin tucking in. Jaw relaxed. Dig in even deeper. You want to feel a strong burning sensation in your left buttock cheek and the back of the left thigh. 4 more on the left. All right, 10 more on the right. Keep squeezing your buttock cheeks tightly together, drawing your tummy away from the front of your clothing, keeping your chin tucking in. Last 2 now. And release. Separate your feet as wide as your mat. Let your knees drop together. Take your arms out wide, and like windscreen wipers, let your knees flop from side to side. Meet back in the center. Draw your knees in towards your belly. Keep your back flat on the floor as you draw the knees in as close as possible. Interlace the hands behind the back of the thighs and start some gentle rocking. So again, we're going to make our spine C-shaped. And we're going to come all the way up and over into an all fours position. Now, if you have sore wrists, I'm going to show you an alternative to a regular plank. Sometimes holding this sort of shape can just be too much weight through the wrist for some people. This is the alternative shape for people without putting too much weight through the wrists. You're still going to be getting a strong strengthening of the bones of the arms. Ideally, we just want to get the bones to bear weight, and that stimulates bone production. So this is the position for people with the sore wrists. If your wrists are strong enough, you'll take a regular plank. All right, so to prepare for that plank, let's take some hip circles. So drawing big circles around with your pelvis. Change directions. Okay, spread all 10 fingers as wide as you can on your mat, and make sure that when you're in your all fours starting position, your hands are directly underneath your armpits. Take your elbows off the lock, so a very small bend in the elbows. Then step the right leg back with your toes tucked under and the back of the right knee as straight as possible. Now step the left leg back next to the right. Tuck your chin in, so you're making a double chin, and then lift the back of the neck towards the ceiling. Push both knees as straight as you can. Breathe in to raise the right leg up. Breathe out to lower the right leg down. In breath, raise the left leg up. Out breath, left leg lowers down. In breath, raise the right. Out breath, lower down. In breath, raise the left. Out breath, lower down. In breath, raise the right. Out breath, lower down. In breath, raise the left. Out breath, lower down. Lower both knees at exactly the same time down to the floor. We're going to move into side plank, and just a reminder, if taking side plank on one arm like this, I'll just show you where we're heading. We're heading into this shape. If that's going to be too much for your left wrist, you will lower your forearms down to the floor. Fold your left arm across the front of your body so that your left fingertips touch your right inside elbow, and then you should be able to take the side plank on your forearm. We're not going to hold the side plank for too long. So you're either on your forearms if you've got the sorer wrists, or you're up back in high plank to start. Bring your 2 feet to touch. Your knees are squeezing in to meet each other and your fingers are spread wide. We're going to roll to the outside border of your left foot and stack the right foot on top of the left, and then slowly peel the right arm up. Now lift your right hip up high, draw in your tummy away from the front of your clothes, and pull your left shoulder blade strongly down your back. Let's stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Roll back to face the floor. Feet are together, knees are together. Now roll to the outside border of the right foot. Raise the left arm up. Lift your left hip up. Pull the right shoulder blade down your back, holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fold back to face the floor. Take a big breath in. Breathing out, drop your knees down to the mat. Take another breath in. Breathing out, relax the top of the feet to the floor and lower the torso down. Let's take a cobra. Pull your hands down by the sides of your ribs. Pull your elbow tips towards each other, and then in breath, lift the chest up. Avoid any pinching in your low back by squeezing your buttock cheeks together. Pull your shoulder blades down towards your bottom. Lower yourself down. Let's take 4 more. In breath to lift. Out breath to lower. Breathe in as you lift. Breathe out to lower. Keep your chin tucked in and shoulder blades pulling down your back the whole time. Last one now. Now push through hands and knees to come up into all fours. Take your bottom all the way back to your heels. Crawl your fingertips forward. Crawl both of your fingers and hands across to the right front corner of your mat. Place the right hand on top of the left And press your left armpit down towards your mat. Feel the stretch strongly through the left side of the torso and the underside of the left arm. Stay here for a slow breath in, a slow breath out. Crawl your hands back to the middle, then across to the left. Put the right hand on top of left hand on top of right. Press your right armpit strongly down towards your mat. Keep your chin tucked in. Take a slow breath in, a slow breath out. Hands back to the center. Push back up into all fours. Move your hands forward. Spread your fingers wide. Tuck your toes under. Use your tummy to lift your pelvis up into a yoga dog. We're going to walk out our heels. So you're bending one knee as you press the alternative heel down. Press your hands as strongly as you can against your yoga mat to try and find as much length as you can from your wrists, down the arms, through the shoulders, along the spine, and out through your sit bones. Stop walking out your feet. Drop the heels down towards the floor. Keep your knees a little bent. Lift your sit bones up high. Now slowly walk your hands all the way back. One hand step at a time. Bend your knees a lot. Bring your fingertips to touch your toe tips and roll up. Shoulders drop down. Give those shoulders a lovely roll around in the same way that we started. Okay, we're going to do some strong weight bearing now to really work on that bone density through your legs. Hold your two hand weights against your breastbone like this, and then drop your shoulders right down away from your ears. Stand in the center of your yoga mat. So we're going to do some lunge squats, and we're going to go side to side on our mat. This is how we're going to do it. We're going to take a big step to your left, and as you step, you're going to land in a little squatting shape like that. Now, if you can see yourself in front of a mirror, that would be ideal, because then you can see that you're making that symmetrical shape. So the shape between your legs, it kind of looks like a house, if you can see. And then step back. Let's try it again. Big lunge, step left, and then return. Lunging left, and return. This is number 3. We're going to do 10. Now, as you do your lunging, keep your pelvic floor drawing up strongly, and keep your breastbone lifting up. So if I was to go side on, you can see I'm keeping my torso vertical here. I'm not leaning over like this. All right, keep your shoulders down away from your ears. That's 6, 7, strong pelvic floor the whole time. 8, 9, 10. Back to center. Let's do the same thing to the right. Shoulders down away from your ears. Breastbone lifts up. Pull up your pelvic floor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Back to center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, nearly there. 7, 8, 9, 10, and hold. Drop your bottom closer to the floor. Peel your 10 toes off the ground. Draw your shoulders down away from your ears. Lift your breastbone up. Pull up your pelvic floor. Squeeze your buttock cheeks together, 10 little ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Stand up. Give your legs a really well-deserved shake out. Walk about your room a little bit. All right, we've warmed up our legs, ready for the next one. We're going to do a variation of an exercise called a Bulgarian split squat. It's basically a weight-bearing exercise to lengthen out your hip flexor muscles whilst building strength in the buttock cheeks. So I'm going to stand side on for this one. Just allow the hands to hang down by your sides, holding the hand weights. Stand at the back of your mat and then take a big step forward with your right leg. So the step needs to be big enough that you end up landing on the ball of your left foot. Now curl your pelvis under. You're pulling your pubic bone up towards your navel. Keep your breastbone lifting up. Eyes are looking straight ahead rather than down at the floor. And then slowly lower your left knee down towards your mat. Contract your left buttock cheek as strongly as you can and push through your right heel to stand back up. Let's try it again. Pelvis is tucking under. As you lower yourself down, keeping your torso vertical, contract your left buttock cheek and push through the right heel to stand up. That's 2. We've got 8 to go. Slowly lowering. Keep going. So what you're feeling in this one is a strong kind of burning, stretching sensation through the front of your left thigh. It's really important that you keep your pelvis tucking under, so you're constantly pulling your pubic bone up towards your navel. To the best of your ability, you're also keeping your left buttock cheek engaged. Eyes ahead. 3 to go. All right, let's take a little walking rest after doing that. And let's do the other side. So generally, if you're right-handed, the right hip flexor is tighter than the left. So we'll see how it goes. Step your left leg forward. You land on the ball of the right foot. Curl your pelvis under. Contract your right buttock cheek to the best of your ability and then lower down slowly. Stand up. So you're feeling a strong stretch through the front of that right hip and thigh as you lower down and stand up. Let's continue. Keep your breastbone up. Keep your eyes up. Keep curling the pubic bone up towards your navel to keep that length through your lumbar spine. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and let's walk that out. All right, now we're going to incorporate that movement, so the deep forward lunge, as we walk around the room. So Let's start on the left. Take a giant step forward with your right leg. You land on the ball of your left foot. Curl your pelvis under. Contract your left buttock cheek as you lower down. Push through your right heel to step forward, feet together. Now step your left leg forward. Curl your pelvis under. Lower yourself down. You're contracting your right buttock cheek through the whole time. Push through your left foot and step forward. Now the right leg steps forward. Lower slowly down as you curl your pelvis under. Push through the right heel to step forward and up. Now the left leg steps forward. Curl the pelvis under, contract the right butt cheek as you lower the right knee down towards the floor. Push through your left foot to stand up. Right foot steps forward. Curl your pelvis under. Contract the left buttock cheek as you lower the left knee down. Press hard through the right heel to step forward. Now the left leg steps forward. Curl the pelvis under. Lowering slowly down through the right knee. Push through your left heel to step forward and up. Now the right leg steps forward. Curl your pelvis under. Lowering left knee down. Contract your left buttock cheek. Press through the right heel, stand up. Last one now, left leg steps forward. Curl your pelvis under. Lowering the right knee down. Press through your left knee and stand up. Give your legs a little shake out. All right. Standing with your feet hip width apart, lift up high onto your tippy toes and then drop both heels down into the floor. So you want to make a thudding sensation through your heels into the ground so that all the bones in the body are being stimulated to become stronger. So let's lift up high onto the toes and thud down. Now we're going to do 20 of these. And have a sense that both your heels are hitting the floor with the same amount of effort. So if you're on a timber floor, or at least a surface where you can hear the thudding sound that you're making, you want to make sure that both feet are generating the same sound. Okay, leave your weights behind on your mat. We're going to got one more thing to do with those in a moment. Give your legs a bit of a shake out. We're going to stretch out, but before we stretch out, I want everyone to have a look at your flexibility, a before and after look. Standing with your feet hip width apart, knees nice and straight for this one. Put your chin on your chest, hands slide down the front of your shins. Keep the back of the knees straight. Keep your chin on your chest because we actually want to stretch the whole fascia of the back of the body here, not just the back of the legs. And just see how close you can get to the ground. Don't worry if you're nowhere near the ground. Just have a look at where you get to by putting your fingertips against your shins or to the floor if you can reach the floor. Now roll up really slowly. Make your spine C-shaped. And as you're coming up, kind of draw your tailbone down towards the back of the heel so you get that lovely stretching through the back of the entire spine. Come all the way up. Now you're going to need a wall for this next exercise. I'm going to use this handy wall right here. Placing your hands at about waist height on the wall. Step your feet back about 1 meter from the wall. And then bend your knees a lot and stick your sit bones out behind you. Tuck in your chin and make sure that your ears are level with your upper arms. Now press the back of your rib cage down to the floor so that your back becomes flat like a table. Keep your knees bent and then start stretching your sit bones up towards the ceiling. You'll feel a stretch in the back of the legs as you do this. Press your heels strongly down into the ground and continue to lift the sit bones up. Keep your back nice and flat and your chin tucking in. Now we're going to wag our tailbone from side to side. Let's do 10 of them. So wag to the right, wag to the left. Keep going. One more to each side. And then return back to the middle. Keep your knees nice and bent. Continue to stretch back behind you with your sit bones as you press your palms into the wall in front of you, keeping the chin tucked in. Now we're going to do 10 little mini presses through the back of the knees. So right now everyone's knees should be off the lock and a little bent. Now activate the quadriceps, the front of the thighs, as you straighten your knees strongly and then bend. So that was number 1. We've got 9 to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 more. Keep pressing your hands into the wall. Keep pressing strongly down through your feet into the floor. And you want to get the back of the knees as straight as possible. All right. Slowly take your fingertips down towards the front of your legs. Knees are bent. Roll up. Let's see if that improved our flexibility. So, feet are hip width apart. The back of your knees are nice and straight. Take your chin to your chest and run the hands slowly down the front of the legs. And see if you can reach a little bit further than you did before. Roll yourself up. Now the final exercise for our flexibility, you just need one of your hand weights. And what we're going to do is massage out the sole of the foot. So put the sole of your foot right on top of your hand weight and press down firmly so that it's quite uncomfortable. And you're going to roll from your heel right up to the back of the toes. Concentrate on the inside border of the foot now. Do this slowly, slower is better. Now the outside border of the foot. Back to the center. And now the other one. Start in the center, nice and slow. Inside border. Outside border. So you want to be pressing firm enough that it's uncomfortable, but not agony. The sole of the foot can be really sensitive and easily bruised, so don't go too deep. You want strong discomfort, but nothing that would make you grit your teeth or start swearing. Back to the center. Okay, let's check in with that forward fold. Straighten your knees, take your chin to your chest and roll down. So I'm hoping that everyone was able to get a little further than you did at the very first effort. And that completes our class for bone density.